morning, everybody. How are we? So welcome. Can everybody hear me? All right. My name is Sean Fairbanks, and I am JetBlue's Director of Airport Operations here at JFK, and we are all here celebrating a pretty good night for JetBlue, huh? So tonight we celebrate the launch of our first ever transatlantic nonstop service from New York to London. All right, fantastic. You know, this is arguably one of the biggest milestones in JetBlue's 21-year history, and I couldn't be prouder of everyone and all the efforts that it takes to make this night possible. We already fly, JetBlue is a fantastic presence across the Americas right now, and we already fly to 25 different countries. And tonight, it's going to go to U.S., Caribbean, Latin America, and South America. But tonight we take that leap across the pond. We go across to Europe and service our 26th country, the United Kingdom. Fantastic. So tonight we're also introducing a new aircraft to the fleet that makes the New York-London route possible. It is the Airbus A321LR, or long range. Fantastic. There's some pictures over here on the monitor. It's a fantastic plane, extra long range. It's been totally customized for the JetBlue experience on board. And so to start things off, me being your MC, I'd like to introduce someone who says about that airplane and why it's so important to JetBlue, our CEO, Robin Hayes.
Okay, thanks, Sean. I hope you can hear me. I've got to do this with a mask on because it is a federal mandate. And if I don't follow the rules, then who will? So anyway, thanks so much for having us. Sean, thanks for the intro. We're here for two reasons tonight. More about London in a minute. But the first reason we're here is to name the airplane. And we've chosen to name the first 321 long-range aircraft after Joel Peterson. Now, Joel joined the JetBlue board in 1999, so he was here from the beginning. And for those of you who were in JetBlue in the early days, you know it was a period of exciting, fast growth. In 2007, Joel took over as chair of JetBlue, and I think I can't see David here. David Newman? David's at the back, so thanks, David. David's coming with us. So when David stood down as CEO, Joel took over as chair, and Joel was a really important chairman for JetBlue at that time. I first met Joel in 2008 when I joined JetBlue, and you know, he was very welcoming to me personally, and I'm very grateful to him. Then Joel was the chairman as JetBlue probably weathered its greatest crisis, which was the 2008 financial crisis. And like all airlines, we weren't really sure what was going to happen. But under Joel's leadership, we navigated it and came out the other side. Now, Joel's also someone who knows a lot about leadership. So he was always telling me how to be a better leader. And by the way, it's a long list. Joel teaches a number of classes at Stanford Business School. And in fact, I use the word lecturer, that's probably not what you use, Joel, but he has a long list of students who want to go to his class. So Joel also brought after a very successful career in real estate, Joel brought a lot of different perspectives. He brought a perspective of entrepreneurship, of innovation, of real estate, and also understanding the financial markets really well. And for a company that was sort of coming out of a financial crisis and looking to find its feet again, it was incredibly important to have someone as experienced as Joel at the helm. Now, what are some of the big things that Joel championed? And when you're a CEO, you need a chairman who kind of tells you what to do, but also is there to support you, someone you can bounce ideas off, and to help you sort of champion different things. So this terminal right here, Terminal 5, Terminal 5I, which is the international wing, and then Terminal 6 and 7 that we've announced, that was all something that Joel believed very passionately about. Joel said at the end of the day, aviation is like real estate. You've got to have the corner lot. Joel was also a big believer in Mint. When we first brought the idea of Mint to the board around 2012, not all of our board members thought it was a great idea. Right? Not all of our crew members thought it was a great idea. It was JetBlue kind of really changing who and what we were. And yet, I think as we look back in sort of 10 years or 9 years on, no one would say Mint was a bad thing. In fact, Mint has been an amazing thing for our company. And without Mint, we wouldn't be taking this plane across to London. So, also, over the last several years, JetBlue has branched out into other areas. We formed a tech ventures fund. And in fact, Joby Aviation, one of our early investments, IPO'd today with a market cap of about $4.5 billion. So you can think they haven't earned a cent yet, and then their market cap's about the same as JetBlue. JetBlue Travel, they're a great company, they're going to do a great job, and they've been great partners over the years. JetBlue Travel Products, another company that is building out a very strong, innovative way of selling different travel insurance, car rentals, hotels, etc. Hopefully it's going to get us $100 million income next year. It was $15 million in 2019. Again, these are innovations that Joel very much championed and gave us as a leadership team a lot of support. So when we went to the board and said, we want to fly to Europe, I looked across the table at Joel and I said, I really hope Joel thinks this is a good idea. But luckily, Joel did. And with Joel's support and the support of some other board members, we got what we needed to order 26 airplanes from our friends at Airbus. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Airbus and our partners at Pratt Whitney in a minute. We ordered 26 of them. So when Joel said it's time to retire from the board, which he did in 2020, he just retired as COVID started to happen. So you missed all those board meetings, Joel. But anyway, we couldn't think of a better person, a better inspirational leader to name our first long-range airplane after than Joel Peterson. So Joel, thank you so much from all of the crew members here, all 21,000 crew members at JetBlue. And we know we'll be in safe hands as we fly across the Atlantic tonight with your name on the side. Joel Peterson, everybody.
So I want to make a couple of brief comments. First of all, it was 121 years ago.
Is it? Just hold it closer.
Yeah, really close. Okay. It was 121 years ago that a couple of brothers went and spent time on the coast of North Carolina. And they were fundamentally flying kites for 4 years. Now, some of them, they were kites that they got into, they had crashes, they were bruised up, they lived through mosquitoes, they lived in tents. But they ultimately, in 1902, Wilbur told Orville, it will be 1,000 years before man is able to fly. So he was really discouraged. They came back, and 2 years later, they made their first flight on December 14th, 1903. That was exactly 121 years also since the Montgolfier brothers flew their hot air balloon from Parc Monceau, if any of you know Paris, in the 8th arrondissement of Paris. And a parachutist jumped from it, and their hot air balloon crashed and was destroyed. And so I don't think the Wright brothers were absolutely certain they had success under their belts yet. They came back exactly 117 years ago on Friday, on August 13th. They came back to Dayton, Ohio, and they flew in the Huffman Prairie. They flew further than they'd flown at Kitty Hawk. They flew 1,300 feet. It was a quarter of a mile, and over a minute. And so with that, they had the beginning of air travel. And when you look at this beautiful Airbus plane here, its pedigree can be traced back to Kitty Hawk. Now, I tell you that story for two reasons. The first reason is because that's the pedigree of this plane that you're all going to see and that we're celebrating today. But the second reason is to say that really the naming of this plane should be after David Neeleman, Dave Barger, and Robin Hayes, and every crew member at JetBlue, because they have made JetBlue what it is today. The Wright brothers showed what I've now bought some 250 companies and served on 40-some boards, and I always say that I hire for character, competence, and commitment. And that's what the Wright brothers showed. In order to create this whole aviation industry, they were amazing. And that's what the CEOs and the crew members of JetBlue. So every JetBlue plane you have has the imprint of JetBlue crew members. And so I'm just honored to be carrying this temporarily. Condi Rice, who is Secretary of State, served on the board of Exxon Oil, and they named a 129-ton tanker after her. And so when this plane was named after me, she dropped me a note and said, "Congratulations, I know what that feels like." But I had to have the name taken off the tanker when I became Secretary of State. So Robin, if I ever become Secretary of State, you're gonna have to swear for me. The odds are slim. In any event, I'm just delighted to see all of the JetBlue friends, to see Airbus, Pratt Whitney, all the folks that are here today. This has been an honor of a lifetime to serve with David Neeleman, Dave Barger, and Robin Hayes. Thanks, Robin.
Stay there, Joel, stay there. In true JetBlue tradition, we have a model airplane here, signed by the leadership team, which we're going to give you, and then for some reason I'm not sure about, I have to take it back, and then we're going to send it to you. But no one tells me anything these days. They tell me what to do, but they don't tell me why I'm doing it. Okay. So thank you very much, Joel. Take a picture, Joel. There you go. Great, thank you. Right, we'll get that back to you. I will find that out later, I thought what that was about, but I don't have time now. Okay, moving on, just a few more quick remarks about why we're flying to London. Before I do, I just want to say a special shout out to a few of our partners with which it wouldn't have been possible. You always have to put this mic in your mouth with a mask on. So our friends at Airbus, you're going to hear from Jeff in a minute, CEO of Airbus Americas, who's with us. Our friends at Pratt Whitney, Rick is here. Where are you, Rick? Rick Deleu? Rick's got a tie on. First time I've seen you in a tie, Rick. Anyway, we couldn't have done that without these amazing next generation engines that we have on the 321 fleet. Our friends at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, here somewhere? Somewhere. Our friends at Visit Britain, because we're going to visit Britain this evening, and also London and partners. So I just want to say a little bit, and I won't go on for too long, I promise, because they're going to really get upset with me if we hold up boarding here. But anyway, so about 4 or 5 years ago, we started talking about the possibility of flying to London. And the reason we wanted to fly to London is, one, we didn't fly there already. 2, it had really high fares. And 3, we felt that we could create an amazing service, both in business class or and also in coach, economy, or core. So that's what we do. When JetBlue looks at something, and what we do really well is we look at something where the fares have got really high, and we try and do it for much lower fares and an improved service. So we started in a warehouse in Kent. Kent is in just southeast of London. And we met there in secret with our seat manufacturer, Thomson, and we were making the seats out of wood. And we were trying to figure out, what should the mint suite look like, how wide should it be, how many could we get in? And over the next 2 or 3 years, with our partners at Airbus and our seat manufacturers, Thomson, we built the product that we built today. And it is an incredible product. But the thing that makes the product most incredible is our amazing in-flight crew members, who are there to deliver the service to all of our customers. And so we are so excited tonight because this is the next frontier for JetBlue. This is us with the first airplane across the Atlantic, but it's the first of many. We have 26 airplanes on order, well, 24 now, and one's coming next week, so that'll be 23. Airplanes that will form the basis of our European operation over the next few years. One of my friends called me today and said, "Robin, I'm going to London in a few weeks, and I've just gone online and I've noticed how much the fares have already fallen. Not just on JetBlue, but of course everybody. Because when JetBlue files a lower fare, guess what? Everyone suddenly has found low fares and they match, which I'm very happy about. Because I say, even if you don't fly JetBlue, if JetBlue flies that route, we're helping you get a lower fare. So what was sort of $1,200 to fly in coach across the Atlantic a couple of weeks ago is now less than $600. What was $5,000 or $6,000 to fly across the Atlantic in business class is less than $2,000 one way. And JetBlue is responsible for that. Because the only thing that changed from then to now is we loaded our flights and started selling. So many people made this possible. We have an amazing core team. I can see Joe at the back and many of them who have worked tirelessly over the last few weeks. And I had a very good week last week because on Friday they said to me, good news, Robin, we've got ETOPS certification for the FAA. And Tom, who's our VP of Safety, said we would have it before the weekend, and we did. And that's really good because if we didn't have it, we couldn't go. Anyway, a huge thank you to all of the team at JetBlue. There's too many to mention by name, but a lot of flying over tonight for making this possible. I also ended up in a bit of a negotiation with Joe. Put your hand up, Joe, so everyone knows who you are. Joe's part of our fleet and finance team. So I wanted to start earlier in August, and Joe wanted to start towards the end of August, and so we compromised on August the 11th. Originally it was going to be the 12th, but we didn't want to land on the 13th. So anyway, thanks to Joe for all the team and to Abad and everyone else for getting us ready. So anyway, that's enough for me. Thank you so much to all of our partners. And with that, I'm going to hand over. You're going to hear from a couple of other partners, starting, I believe, with Jeff, the CEO of Americas from Airbus. Jeff, thanks very much for coming with us, and thanks for such a lovely airplane. And it's now a good time to order more. Okay, great.
Beat the rush. Robin, I just want to say, first of all, congratulations. Not only for a great event, but the reason we're here, and that's that you, JetBlue, are flying to London. I would guess if we were to ask David and team 20 plus years ago, London may not have been on that map. So it wasn't, Joel, 120 years in the making, but over the last 20 plus years, what JetBlue, America's New York hometown airline, has accomplished is truly phenomenal. Now, how do I know it's New York's hometown airline? Every time I see Senator Schumer, he reminds me. I think he's part of your fan base, for sure. So a couple things that I've noticed. I've had the opportunity to know David for many, many years, and Robin, and really most of the management team. Certain things have never changed, although the routes have changed, certain, Mint has changed, but the focus on people. JetBlue has terrific people, and you should be proud of that, because that has never changed. The focus on customer service has never changed, and I would say customer excellence has never changed. And that's really what has made, in my opinion, JetBlue different. Now, our contribution is the airplane. Now, we think we make great airplanes, but you make them better. And you make them better because you have great interiors, great people working in the airplanes, and allow the airplanes to do everything they're capable of. So I just want to say thank you, Robin, for everything that you've done for Airbus, and congratulations on a wonderful event and trip to London. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, before we get to the festivities and get everything off online, we got a few more guest speakers. So now I'd like to introduce, from Pratt Whitney, Rick Derlew.
Thank you, Robin, and the entire JetBlue team. And Robin's right. When I've spent time, and I've spent a lot of time with JetBlue because we're the state next door, I'm never wearing a tie. But I figured with a red tie today, I'd blend in with a Union Jack. So look, it's been an incredible partnership that we've had with JetBlue for over 2 decades. We've been with them since the inception. We power 200 plus aircraft across their A320ceo family, the Neo family, and now the A220. It's been a complete privilege to go do that. I'd also call out Airbus, because Airbus has been a great partner to both JetBlue and us. You know, this airplane tonight is, in my mind, has 3 great features that are kind of new to us. One, It's the first transatlantic ETOPS flight, which is a really important milestone for JetBlue. The second one is, Jeff alluded to it, the airspace cabin, right? So I'm looking forward to being able to relax in that cabin configuration tonight. And lastly, it's obviously most important to us is how quiet these engines are, so everyone can enjoy a good night's sleep for those who do. So with that, again, I want to shout out to Robin and the entire JetBlue team for everything you've done with us over the years, and let it continue.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have from the UK Consulate here in New York, Ben Brierley.
Thanks everyone. I will keep it very brief. I don't want to stay between you and this wonderful new aircraft. Just delighted to be here celebrating JetBlue's inaugural transatlantic flight. I'd like to add our ambassadors warm greetings and congratulations as well. I think this really symbolises just what we do, trying to bring people close together, and you're literally doing that on a plane, which is great. I know this has been a difficult 18 months or so, and I feel like we're in an optimistic and good place. And it's just fantastic to see everyone here all celebrating what's going to be just a way to bring families back together, reunited maybe for the first time in a while, businesses who want to sort of do those in-person meetings and just really bring us all that little bit closer together. This is just lovely to be here. I'm not going to be on the plane, I'm afraid, but I hope sometime in the future. And just to see how we bring all these wonderful people close together. I will stop it there, so I'm just going to say wonderful too many times. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And for our last guest speaker from Visit Britain, Mr. Paul Gogger.
Hey everyone, I bet you're glad I'm the last. So we're just absolutely thrilled that you're here. I'm Paul Gogger, I'm the Senior Vice President for the Americas for Visit Britain based here in New York. We're thrilled that JetBlue is flying to London. It just couldn't come at a better time when Americans now who are double vaccinated can visit Britain, can visit London without quarantine. So that's so it's a big let's give that a round of applause. So really cool about that. And we're also, when you get there, know that you're going to be safe because we've got over 50,000 businesses who have a good to go mark. And our good to go mark means that they're following all the health and safety practices, and so you'll be more than safe when you are there in London. Now, London is one of my favourite cities, obviously, but I can speak from first-hand experience, having lived there twice in my life, and it is, without being corny, it is one of my favourites, and there is so much to offer. All of our old favourites that you would know. You can see some of those icons around the room here, but also lots of new experiences as well. So for those lucky people who are going on the flight, make sure you pick up one of these because this will let you know about all the experiences that are on offer and everything from all the new hotels that are opening, all the attractions, West End Theatre, and of course London is the gateway to the rest of Britain as well. So enjoy. I can't wait to get on a JetBlue flight at some stage as well. But thank you very much for Visit Britain, and congratulations JetBlue.
All right, thank you guys so much. Appreciate everyone being here. We're going to invite some select VIPs and partners over here to in front of the Union Jack for a ribbon cutting ceremony. Everybody else over on the table, we have some light refreshments and drinks, and we're right on time. So thank you all the speakers, Robin, and everybody else. Congratulations, Mr. Peterson. Have a great night. Thank you, and appreciate you being here for this part of historical moment for JetBlue.